comes a moment after the descent where the world feels unfamiliar. You're not fully out, but you're no longer falling. It's the first breath a man takes after realizing he survived himself. Not because the darkness ended, but because he stopped negotiating with it. The Underworld didn't change your circumstances. It changed who you fundamentally are. This is the beginning of Reconstruction. The moment a man must decide what version of himself is permitted to rise. Most men misunderstand this phase. They think Reconstruction is feeling better or getting life back on track. But Reconstruction is not healing. Reconstruction is identity architecture. It's when a man begins asking, what parts of me are not coming back? Who am I without the avoidance? What version of myself can no longer survive? What truth do I now owe myself? This is the stage that separates men who relapse into old patterns from men who rise with a completely different spine. Reconstruction is not spiritual relief. It's spiritual carpentry. Across every tradition, the masculine journey follows the same pattern: descent, loss of all illusions, confrontation, truth without anesthesia, reconstruction, identity and discipline, ascent, embodiment and direction. You're in the third stage now, the one no one glamorizes, because it's not dramatic and it's not pretty. It's slow, it's deliberate, it's daily. It's where a man decides whether he's rising towards his potential or retreating towards his past. This is the stage the world never sees, but the stage your future completely and utterly depends on. During Reconstruction, a man must build three things. First is structure. Not routines, structure. The framework that keeps you from collapsing when your emotions fluctuate. Number two, standards. Not external expectations, internal laws. The rules you hold yourself to even when no one is watching. Number three, self-respect. Not confidence, not arrogance, not motivation. Self-respect born from action. A man respects himself only when his behavior aligns with the man he is becoming. Reconstruction fails when men try to rebuild their life without rebuilding their identity. This is the moment the old identity comes back. The smallness, the excuses, the numbing, the familiar patterns, the older version that whispers, just come back. It's easier here. But here's the truth. You can never fully return to a man you outgrew. Sure, you can pretend, you can regress, You can collapse again, but you can never unknow the truth. Especially that truth you met deep down there in the underworld. Reconstruction feels so fragile. Your old self is dying, and your new self is not built yet. You're existing in the world between worlds. In this phase, inspiration becomes totally useless. You don't rise through excitement. You rise up through devotion. Devotion to your direction. Devotion to your discipline. Devotion to the man waiting on the other side. This is where you learn that masculine growth is not emotional. It's architectural. You are constructing the internal throne that your future self will sit on. And that throne is built from the purity of your devotion. Reconstruction is the first time a man feels power returning to him. Not dominance or arrogance, not ego, not bravado. Power as clarity, power as groundedness, power as responsibility. You begin to realize, I don't need life to be easy in order to walk like a man. And that realization is the first sign that you're rising. There comes a point when reconstruction transitions into ascent. And that transition happens the moment a man chooses direction. Not goals, not fantasies, not vague ambitions, direction. A single orientation of the soul that says, this is who I am becoming, and everything in my life will point towards that. When direction arrives, the underworld loses its claim upon you. Not because the darkness disappears, but rather because you now walk with purpose. This phase you're in, this reconstruction, is not a punishment. It's your reforging. You faced the descent. You faced yourself. And now you're rising with a spine built by your own hands. This part of the path separates the men who relapse from the men who resurrect. You're not done, but you're no longer who you were. Subscribe if you're walking this path. Men like you do not rebuild themselves by accident.